Hi everybody, in today's video I'm going to be talking about circle tactics and strategy and how you can win more chicken dinners by basically playing the quiet edge of the circle. Now you've probably heard this before, but I want to go into it a little bit more detail, especially for PlayStation owners who have just come to PUBG and maybe aren't quite aware of how much the tactical choices you make, the strategic choices you make as part of your gameplay will affect your chances of winning a chicken dinner. Now, the core of all this is the idea that gunfights are difficult to win if you have lots of them in a row. Okay, so let's say we're all dropping on Erangel here. Let's say, and everybody's of equal skill. And so if you come across, and this is a solo game, so if we come across one person, let's say we've got a 50-50 chance of beating them. We've got the same kit and that sort of thing. So we've got half a chance of beating them. Let's say we beat them. So we beat that person. Then we come across another person and we beat that person too. So if you work out the probability of these things, the probability of beating the first person is 1 in 2. When you get to the next person, the probability of beating him again is 1 in 2 because it doesn't change. It's not like you can remember how, as long as your kit is the same, you know, you've managed to get some new armor and some new ammo, that sort of stuff. But if you put those two fights together, the chance of you winning both of those is 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, which is a quarter. And let's say you come across another equal player. So you've got to do 3 gunfights in a row. So it would be 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, 1 over 2. So it's 2 times 2 times 2, which is a sixth. So as you see, as you do more gunfights, if you're coming across people of equal skill to you on equal terrain with equal equipment, your chances of winning all of those gunfights starts to drop considerably. Now, in each gunfight, you've got a 1 in 2 chance of winning. But if you want to win so many in a row, so one of the ways that you can increase your chances of getting a chicken dinner is by avoiding as many gunfights as possible and leaving them till the end of the match. And if you search through my YouTube video, you'll see I've got a video about playing the numbers where I go into this probability theory in a lot more detail. But basically the essence of this is if you play the quiet side of the circle and encounter less enemies in your way to the top 10, you're much more likely to get yourself into a winning situation. So let me show you some examples. And although we're looking at Erangel here, this applies to Sandhawk and this applies to Miramar, and will apply to the snow map Vikendi when we get it. So why don't we let's just draw a flight path. So real simple example. So let's say the flight path is there. You probably want to watch this full screen on your laptop or your PC or turn your phone sideways so you can actually see what's going on, because I understand it's going to be pretty small. So let's say we get that flight path. So generally people will always drop along named locations along a flight path. So on this particular flight path, lots of people will drop at Georgopol, Gatka, Prim, and they'll jump far-ish to Military and Pachinki and Rozhok. So so this part of the map all around here, sort of left and right of the flight path, will be full of people. So where do you think the safest place would be to go to loot up to avoid early gunfights? Well, of course, it's over here in the east. So what you want to do is, if you can, you want to grab a vehicle and jump as far as you can from the plane and say land somewhere like here. And at that point, you'll probably be able to find a vehicle and then move on to somewhere like Pollyanna, where there probably won't be many people there. You can loot up safely, and then when the circle appears, another thing you might want to do is you could fly along and get a vehicle somewhere around here. Vehicles tend to be on roads, and then you could drive further and go all the way to Milta, and then and loot up safely, because you're going to be away from the majority of people. Now, I'm not saying that nobody's going to have the same idea as you, but at that point, you've got a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to loot up and get the kit you want without getting into early gunfights. The other point about PUBG as well is, because the game isn't brilliantly optimized on Xbox or PlayStation or mobile or on lower end PCs, you're better off avoiding those early gunfights, because they can be a bit of a lottery who wins. So let's say we've gone to, where should we go? Let's say we've gone to there, right, and then the next circle appears. Sorry, the first circle appears. So let's draw a circle now. So let's say the first circle is all of a sudden over here, like this. I know the first circle is normally a bit bigger, but let's say that's the first circle. So thinking about the fact that most of the people in the game will have dropped along the line of the flight path on the left, you're going to have, they're going to be at places like Prim, they're going to be places like Gatka, they're going to be places like Georgopol, they'll have gone to military base. Obviously, you're going to have this big movement of people moving sort of from west to east, sort of these directions, won't you? Sort of like this kind of thing. They're all going to be moving in this direction. Now you're here, so where do you think you should go to get to the quiet side of the circle? Where should you move to? Well, obviously, you probably want to move all the way over to somewhere like here. If you've got any more looting to do, somewhere like Lipovka would do, so you end up going there. So the majority of people now will all be over on this kind of western side of the circle. You won't have anybody behind you because the sea's behind you, and so you're on the quiet side of the circle. So then let's say the next circle appears, and the next circle is, say, there. Again, we're going to have a really big concentration of people all moving into sort of this direction, coming from military base, coming from over here, and over here, and they're all going to be coming in. So where do you think you should go? Now, people do obviously move further, and some people might go to Miltopau and things like that. So where do you think you should go? Well, you could simply move up to here, or if you wanted to be really brave, what you could do is you could reposition yourself all the way round to there, and again you'll be playing the quiet side of the circle. Now, in order to do these big moves, obviously you're going to need a vehicle. If you're on somewhere like Sandhock, the jungle map, not quite so critical. You can move quite a lot on foot. And what you're doing is, see all these lines as they're getting closer together, all these people are going to be fighting each other and killing themselves, using up their armour, using up their grenades, using up their ammunition, and you're still going to be fresh in your lovely level 2 or level 3 armour. Maybe you found a nice level 2 helmet, you've got your favourite weapon with all the attachments, and you're going to be ready to strike into the next circle, wherever that may be. And I call this tactic, it's called D23E. What it stands for, and it kind of applies to Miramar and Erangel, not so much Sandhock, but it's definitely Miramar and Erangel. It's drive to the third circle and then play the edge. So what you would do is, let's say the next circle appeared kind of there. I know I haven't really got the right sizes for the circles, but when you first jumped out of the plane up on the north coast and you're at Severny, you pick up a vehicle. That's the most important thing. Picking up a vehicle first. Driving to Severny, looting up in peace, driving to the edge of the next circle, looting up in peace, driving to the edge of the third circle, moving around in peace, and then going the rest of the way on foot. Now, sometimes the third circle can screw you, or the fourth circle can screw you, so you might want to use the vehicle again. On Miramar as well, you might want to keep hold of your vehicle because sometimes it can be very, very open. So there you go. So that's the idea of clearing playing the quiet edge. So let's go back to the beginning, and let's do another example. So let's say we had a flight path like, what would be a good one? Let's say something like that. So we've got a flight path sort of like that. So looking at the named places that are close to the flight path, Lipovka is going to be busy. Yasnaya Polyana is going to be busy. School, the same places that are always busy. School will be busy. Generally, people will head to Stal because they know there's good stuff. As we come down here, Milta's not too far away, so Milta's going to be busy. Pachinki's definitely going to be busy. As we move down to near the coast, people are going to be able to reach military base, so they're definitely going to be hitting military base. People are going to be dropping at Primorsk and probably Gatka as well. Some people may well want to be jumping along to South Georgie and hospital. People love hospital, and Rozhok as well. So where should we think about going? Well, what we should think about, or what I would think about doing, is I would think about maybe dropping quickly and going to there and going up to Kaminsky. Or probably I would drop about there, pick up a vehicle and go up to Severny. Or if I was feeling, I want to do something even more different, I would drop here, because you can fly to about all these places, get a vehicle, and go to Zaki. And that would mean you could then, we'd end up kind of there, or there, or there, like that. And again, that means you can loot in peace. Now let's say the next circle then appears, and let's say you get something like this. You get, wrong tool. Let's say we get a military island circle. Let's say we get something like this. Okay. Now you might think, oh gosh, now where would the hot side of the circle be? Where would the hot side of the circle be? Well, if we use our little line tool, we can see we're going to have people coming from school coming this way. We're going to have people coming from Pachinki coming this way. People from Prim going this way. People from Milta, well, they're still in. People from Milta Power coming this way. People coming from South Georgie coming this way. People in military base, they're okay, but you can see that the north side of the circle is the hot side. So one of the clever things you could do, remember, because you're by yourself, you can loot for quite a long time up here, is you would get your vehicle, and you would want to probably hit the bridges fairly early to avoid bridge blocks or find a boat along the beaches. And then you would say you're in Severny, you could do a hard shift all the way over to that side of the circle. So you've got your back to the sea. So you've got nobody behind you, and chances are people tend to, if they're in military base and they've been shooting at each other, they tend to turn into campers and they don't go that far. So you could go to there, maybe you're into Zaki, again you could go all the way round to there. And again, you're playing the quiet side of the circle where you're less likely to run into people. So if we then say, okay, let's say the next circle is somewhere like there. And again, I know the circles aren't completely like this. But again, the hot side of the circle, if we get our line tool out, it's going to be people coming across the bridge, and they're all going to be coming into these sorts of situations. They're all still going to be military base, but people would probably be going into military base. People like to do that. But if you're already in sort of this location there and this location there, again, you can move into the quiet side of the circle, which would be, you could move to there and move into there. And again, you're minimizing the number of people you're going to bump into where you might get killed. You could be the best player in the world and you're being very stealthy, and there's someone in a bush sees you and they just kill you, and you get no second chances in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So you've got to start again. So again, hopefully these examples have shown you how playing the quieter side of the circle can really help. Now, let's go into some more examples as well. Let's do some, I want to see if we can do some more central. Can we go to here? Let's turn these off. Borrowed this map off Eurogamer. Right, so let's say we had a flight path, something like that's there, and let's say we then had a circle like this, the classic center circle, and let's say you then had a circle like this, another center circle, well, roughly center circle. In these sorts of situations, you're like, oh gosh, what do I do? Because obviously, because of this flight path, people are going to be dropping Rozhok, they're going to be dropping Pachinki, they're going to be dropping school, they're going to be dropping military base, they're going to be dropping Milta, probably Yasnaya. And what you would have done is you've probably gone up to somewhere like, you could have dropped Severny, you could have dropped Prim, you could have dropped Kaminsky, all these places that are where you have to jump very far, get a vehicle and get them. But where do you go next? Because you're driving into the dragon's den, if you like, the wolf's lair, because the people are going to be all around here. Well, what I do is you look at the map and you think, well, if people are coming in straight lines towards the centres of the circles, so let's people from Yasnar are going to be coming in that direction, people from Rozhok are going to be coming in, because people tend to run towards the centre of the circle. People from Milta are going to be coming in from that direction, maybe someone from prison that direction. Military base, they'll be coming over the bridge, so they'll be coming up there, or they'll be coming over there. What you're looking for is a way into the circle that's avoiding the route from the named places. So if I was at Prim down here, you would probably look up to come up to somewhere like here, playing the edge, and then you come in at this direction here, like that. Or if you're coming down from Kaminsky, you would come to there in between Pollyanna and say Mansion, and then you would come in at that angle. So you're kind of threading the needle between these common places. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to run into people, you will, but again, you're minimizing the situation. I mean, in fact, this probably isn't the best example because of the one of the more obvious places to go, actually, thinking about it a little bit more, would be to actually plonk yourself down here with your back to the sea, ready for the next circle. But if you imagine that circle is a little bit further up in the middle map, where you haven't got a safe place to go back to. So that is a slightly more complicated example. So there we go. That's sort of playing the quiet edge of the circle. And the essence of it is jump far from the plane, find a vehicle, drive further away, and then when the circle appears, think, okay, where's the majority of people will have dropped? Which is the quietest bit I can get to? And generally, it's the side nearest the coast, because people aren't going to be coming from the sea. they don't spawn in the sea and come round, and then you make your way in from there, and that will give you a better chance of getting into a top 10 situation, which gives you a better chance of winning that chicken dinner. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful. If you've got any questions or comments, put them in the box down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.